Welcome everyone to the Jackson-Triggs virtual event. We appreciate this opportunity to showcase to you just some of what is so great about Canada's #1 wine brand. My name is Nathan O'Brien and I am here today to help you get to know our great Jackson-Triggs brand a little better. The Jackson-Triggs brand has a strong history of supporting Ontario artists through our involvement in both music and visual arts. In 2021, we've continued that support with our Local Artist Series. The Local Artist Series was born as a way to amplify voices of emerging local music talent. These two limited edition labels for our Jackson-Triggs wines were created to really put a spotlight on two of our local rising stars. They are now available for sale for a very limited time in store at your local LCBO and online at lcbo.com. Be sure to grab yours today. Today, we are very fortunate to spend a few minutes with each of our featured artists, Mark Clennon and Witch Prophet, to meet them and discuss their music. But first, we'd like to take you to where the wine magic begins. We are really excited to have you experience a tour of our iconic Jackson-Triggs estate in Niagara. It's a beacon experience for everything wine and a great opportunity to explore the beautiful Ontario wine country that we are so lucky to have right here in our own backyard.
Welcome to Jackson-Triggs Niagara Estate, Canada's most awarded winery. As an icon for quality Ontario wines, we're so fortunate to have visitors from all over the world. For those close by, Jackson-Triggs Niagara is the perfect day trip. And for people traveling, it's a wonderful local experience to enjoy some of the best wine Ontario has to offer. Whatever your reason for stopping by, there's something here for everyone. From tours and tastings to wine, food pairings, and our open-air amphitheater, where we host some of the best musical and performing art in Canada. If you're wondering, how did this all start? Well, we'd have to go back to 1992 when Alan Jackson and Don Triggs met while working at Labatt Cartier Wines. Alan and Don ended up purchasing that wine business, and the Jackson-Triggs label was born. Since then, Alan and Don have become widely acknowledged as the true pioneers of Ontario wine and the original innovators behind Canada's #1 wine brand. Today, Jackson-Triggs Niagara Estate is home to our amazing vineyards, our expert winemaker, and on-site production.
When it comes to the look and feel of Jackson-Triggs Niagara Estate, Alan and Don wanted to have a modern building, which our wine industry calls now the New World. The design was inspired by French terroir and blends together the best of the modern style with the charming characteristics of our local Southern Ontario farming roots. As you take your steps into the estate, you will feel inspired by the welcoming ambience of Great Hall's structure, which sets the stage for the amazing day ahead. A day of wine, art, and food. At Jackson-Triggs, we are proudly local and love supporting local. Our brand has a strong history in featuring Ontario artists through music and visual art. Here in the Great Hall, we have dedicated galleries where Canadian artists can sell and showcase their artwork. We also have an exceptional retail shop featuring an array of our award-winning wines, artisanal jams, as well as local meats and cheese. The perfect pairing for any wine you may take home. And if you're looking for a great spot to celebrate, talk, and taste, our Entourage Room offers a welcoming, open-door terrace space with a full view of our vineyard. No matter the weather, we want your experience to be a memorable one.
At our Niagara Estate, we have the most unique wine and food experiences. Our chefs use the best local ingredients to create the most perfect pairings that bring out the best in our wine. We're very excited about our celebration house, a new experience this year. This private, elevated lounge experience comes with our 5 award-winning sparkling wines that exude fruity and zesty flavors with floral finishes. And of course, enjoy wonderful food pairings in our celebration house.
At Jackson-Triggs, we believe every day is worth celebrating. So why not celebrate it together?
The Jackson-Triggs brand is rooted in music. When you visit, a day of tastings can lead to an evening under the stars. with incredible performances on the stage of our one-of-a-kind amphitheater. From concerts like the Tragically Hip to Broken Social Scene, if you've ever been a guest, you'll agree there's not a bad seat in the house.
At the heart of our success is our vineyards, our wines, and our expert winemaker, Levi Deloren. Born in small town outside of Adelaide, Australia, Levi grew up surrounded by vineyards and had a natural curiosity for winemaking. As the estate winemaker of Jackson-Triggs Winery, Levi brings his international expertise to our local award-winning collection of wines.
Hi, my name is Levi Deloren. I'm a winemaker here at Jackson-Triggs Estate Winery. It's an incredible day and we're out in the Chardonnay vineyard on the estates. The estates comprises of about 11.5 acres of vineyards, predominantly Pinot and Chardonnay, both of which go into my Entourage brewed each year. But I'm very fortuitous in that I've got another 600 acres of vineyard that I can choose from to bring in all of our Tier 1 fruit here at Jackson-Triggs. That 600 acres gives me an incredibly diverse range of terroir right across the peninsula. On top of that 600 acres, we've got another 3,300 acres that we can pull from our incredible growers across the region. What I really love about winemaking is that balance between art and science. It's quite an eclectic balance between the two, but here in Jackson-Triggs we've embraced both. We've embraced the arts incredibly, and each year we do a summer series concert series featuring incredible Canadian artists from across Canada.
We hope you've enjoyed this virtual Jackson-Triggs Niagara Estate experience. This is just a little glimpse into what you can enjoy and discover when you visit and immerse yourself in our award-winning Jackson-Triggs wines.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your virtual visit to our amazing Jackson-Triggs estate. It really is a local gem in our own backyard and a great place to experience. We really hope you have the opportunity to visit us there sometime soon. As mentioned, the Jackson-Triggs brand has a really strong connection to music, whether through hosting events at our amphitheater, sponsorships like the Junos, or supporting great Canadian talent like Emmanuel. This fall, we developed a program to support emerging Canadian music artists through creating special limited edition labels, complete with a QR code that allows you to discover and enjoy their music. Today, we'd like to take this opportunity to get to know two of Ontario's own emerging artists, Mark Clennon and Which Prophet, and learn about what inspires them and their experiences in music. So we're here today with Mark Clennon, local Toronto music artist, here to talk to us about his journey through music.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. I'm so honored to be a part of this experience. And yeah, I'm from Toronto. I was born in Jamaica. I've lived here now for a very long time and I love this city. I think it's the best city on the planet.
So you talk about your love for Toronto. Is there something about the city or even Canada that really inspires your music?
Yeah, you know what's really interesting about Canada and Toronto specifically is that for me as an immigrant from Jamaica, I have never lived in a city where you're exposed to such diversity and you're exposed to so many different cultures and languages and expressions and dances. You know, growing up in Jamaica, you're exposed to traditionally reggae, dancehall, and maybe American pop music. Whereas here, I'm exposed to all of that, but I'm now learning about, you know, my friends from India and Bollywood music. I'm learning about Albanian music, you know, Cantonese. There's just so much different types of music to learn from. I just feel like Toronto is a very special place for that.
So I understand you've recently published a book titled Foreign. Can you tell us a little bit more about what it's like to be both a music artist and an author?
Writing poetry for me is so much more exposing than music, because with music, it's a collection of things that make a song. It's the production, the lyrics, the melody, the voice, the instruments. A lot of that is a collaborative effort with, you know, yourself, musicians, if you're playing the instruments, or other, you know, producers. Whereas with poetry, it's, for me at least, it was like an unadulterated, true expression of everything that I was thinking, and there was no other, it wasn't collaborative at all. And it's just like a very vulnerable and exposing body of work, a bit more so than music for me.
So as you look ahead towards your music career, what are some of the goals and ambitions that you have, and where do you want your music journey to take you?
I think in the immediate future, where I see myself going as an artist is sort of being more of a storyteller as a musician, and creating work that is not just a song or a book or an album, but perhaps creating a full narrative and a story. With that being said, encompassing many art forms. So for my next record, I would love to have an accompanying film. I'd love to have an accompanying podcast. I'd love to have just many avenues to tell that full story.
Yeah, it's really amazing that you can be such a huge creative force and bring all those different, mediums together into, almost like this artistic persona that you're building.
I see myself as an artist first and a musician second. And with that being said, I think I don't limit myself to just music. Music is my bread and butter, and I've done it my whole life, and I love it, and I'm very passionate about it. But I think I'm an artist in every sense of the word. Like, I love design. I love any way of self-expression. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for musicians and artists in general to tie in all of these things.
So kind of building on that a little bit more, is there an artist that you would absolutely love to collaborate with, dead or alive, any type of medium?
I would say like my dream collaboration would be Bob Marley. I know it's a bit cliche because he's like the most iconic Jamaican artist of all time, but I just think he was one of those few artists that really represented something more than music. Like, especially in our culture in Jamaica, his music is synonymous with like hope and change, and he really spoke for a lot of people who didn't have a voice. And at that time, Jamaica was going through a lot of growth and movement and a lot of instability, and he really kind of brought everyone together. And here we are, like 30, 40 years after his time, and people still resonate with his music so powerfully.
We often talk about wine and food pairing together, but if we talk about music and food going together, do you have a favorite food or a favorite restaurant that you think really best pairs with your music?
If I were to choose a type of food or a cuisine or a restaurant that I would pair with my music, I would want something that was soulful and was made with love, because I think that's how I think of my music. I put a lot of soul and heart and energy into it, and it's made with love. As far as a local Toronto restaurant, I would say The Real Jerk, because I love Jamaican food, and you definitely feel the like authenticity in the way they prepare it, and in the food itself. Or Piano on Harvard and Spadina. It's really good food, soulful for sure. Definitely very nurturing to the soul when you eat it. It's like decadent and rich and just tasty.
So you've talked to us about your journey through music and other various forms of art that you love. I imagine you never thought that there'd be a Mark Clennon Merlot out there with your face on it. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means to you?
It's just been very exciting to be a part of this, and just to fathom the idea that I could be able to connect with people in different ways, not just with my music, but with through the wine, and ultimately perhaps leading them to my music, and vice versa, perhaps leading some of my fans to enjoy a wonderful glass of Merlot from Jackson-Triggs. And also, it's kind of cool to be affiliated with Jackson-Triggs in the sense that it is an iconic Canadian brand. And it just kind of feels so cool to be a part of that legacy.
A big part of this label is that people are going to be able to discover your music. They're going to be able to stream it from YouTube Music. So it's really nice to think that people are going to sit back with a glass of wine and be able to really kind of listen and enjoy your latest music.
Yeah, that's very exciting. I think as an artist, you're always looking for new ways to reach new people and to trying to connect with prospective fans and just people in general. And when I make music, obviously I'm making it from my heart, but it's for people to consume. And so it's just awesome to be able to pair with something like this.
So sitting back with a great book of poetry, like Foreign maybe, and listening to some of your music and enjoying a glass of Merlot. It really doesn't get much better than that.
I would love to do that myself. Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time to chat to us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So thanks for joining us today, Which Prophet. It's really exciting to have you here. I would love to start off with you telling our viewers a little bit about yourself and your backgrounds.
Yeah, I am a Toronto-based artist, singer-songwriter. My focus is R&B, soul, jazz fusion. I co-run a record label with my wife called Heart Lake Records, which is where my music is released off of. And I've been doing music since 2009.
Could you tell us a little bit more about Heart Lake Records?
Yeah, so our label is focused on women and non-binary artists, but of course we cater to anybody who's really an amazing talent who wants to be on our label. But at this moment, it is myself, Which Prophet, Above Top Secret, which is another band that I'm a part of, Sun, who is my wife, and Yazzie, who is a non-binary rapper from Toronto.
So let's talk a little bit more about what inspires you within your music career, or how you kind of got started in the world of music.
Well, I guess I got started because I was always singing with my family, and after church on Sundays, we would be singing at my grandmother's house. So always grown up around music. I never knew that it was an actual career that I could focus on. I thought it was just like a fun thing that I could do on the side. And then when I really realized that this was something that I could make a living out of, have a sustainable living out of, was probably in 2009 when I created a collective called 88 Days of Fortune with a bunch of other artists in Toronto, just to sort of have a platform to grow as an artist. I used to be really scared to sing in front of people other than my family, so I had to get my practice in. So I got it in with my friends and my community, and by throwing our own events, and that turned into wanting to do more and wanting to tour and wanting to have a label, and so here we are.
Could you tell us a little bit more about how Toronto inspires your music?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Toronto my whole life. I've lived almost every neighborhood you could possibly think of, and I just love everything about the city because I mean, like, it's cliche to say, but it is a multicultural city. So that's really inspired me because it has shown me that as a child of the diaspora, because my family did come from Ethiopia and Eritrea, we immigrated to Canada in the 80s. Toronto allows me to be myself, because I understand that the entire city is a city of immigrants, or a city of people who come from immigrant families.
On that note of local, congratulations. I understand you are the recipient of the Ontario Arts Council grant.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what that means to you?
Yeah, it's a major deal to have any sort of funding towards art within the city and within the country. So it's really such a blessing. Ontario Arts Council grant allowed me to record, mix and master, to pay for guest artists, to do my photography, to print the album. Like it literally allowed me to present myself in a more professional way. So like, where the Ontario government has been like, we believe in your art as well, and here is funding. So it was probably the first grant that I've gotten, and since then I've gotten quite a few. So I'm very thankful. But it's the first grant I've gotten where it's been specifically about my music.
Could you maybe talk about some of your senses of inspiration for some of the more visual cues of your music, and where you find that?
Yeah, well, I'm always inspired by other indie artists within the scene. But of course, I mean, like, Beyonce dropped her Black is King on, and that entire like audio visual, whatever that was, film was really made me be like, okay, wow, yeah, let's really focus on storytelling, on telling your story. Like, so in my aspect, the story for my album was about being queer, being East African, and then the stories of my family members and what their names mean and things like that. So like everything has a connection. And so she really did show me that like everything needs to be connected, because people like that. And also it actually connects with people when you're watching it, when there is a connection, when there's multiple storylines to things. And so seeing what she was releasing, seeing what Sanfa the Great was releasing, and then seeing what other local artists, I mean, like Lita Pimenta, I'm a big fan of her and friends with her, and seeing all the visuals she was releasing really made me be like, oh, I got to step up my game and really dive more into the cultural aspect of what I want to share. So with DNA Activation, my album, it's focused on Ethiopian and Eritrean heritage. And so with my music videos and my short film, I really tried to integrate that as well.
And as part of those visuals, did you ever anticipate that you would be the face of Jackson-Triggs?
Nope, never. This is really cool. Actually, it's a very cool experience. I haven't told my mom, so I'm really excited to just show up in a LCBO and just be like, oh, let's get some wine. Like, be like, what's this? So I'm very excited. My sister knows. My wife obviously knows. She took the picture. So everybody's very excited, but I'm more excited to see what my mom thinks about this. You know, like growing up, she was always like, okay, you want to do music, but what's your plan B? You know, what's the plan B just in case? And I'd always be like, there's no plan B, only a plan A. So I really want to be like, it took a long time, but the plan A, it's starting to, the trickle effect, like, you know, things are coming through. So yeah.
I'm sure your mom's going to be really proud when when you show her. It's awesome. So yeah. So we're very lucky to recently have you perform at the Jackson-Triggs estate for a very intimate live audience. How was it to perform in front of real people again, rather than, you know, having to do it virtually?
Yeah, it was a relief. I'm so tired of the virtual performances, so it was really nice to perform in front of an audience and to get the energy back that you put out. It's a lot different when you're performing to a screen for almost 2 years. To get back in front of people it's something that you don't realize that you really miss, and I definitely don't want to take it for granted ever again. So I'm thankful.
Yeah, I think we're all really looking forward to many more moments when we can experience, you know, live events and in-person interactions again as well. So
for sure.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Witch Prophet, for coming in today. It's been really exciting getting to learn about your music and your inspiration. You know, we're really honored to have you as part of the Jackson-Triggs Artist Series. Really looking forward to seeing your new album as it comes out early 2022.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
What a great opportunity to hear from the local Ontario artists that inspired our limited edition artist labels. I am sure that we will be hearing more and more from them and their music. Now let's learn more about the wines in our limited edition artist labels, the Jackson-Triggs Reserve Merlot and the Jackson-Triggs Reserve Chardonnay, both artfully created locally at our Niagara estate. Our expert winemaker, Levi Deloren, will now take us through these great local wines.
So here at Jackson-Triggs, we're incredibly proud to support Canadian artists, and in particular, we're really so proud to support this local series that we're doing with Ontario artists. The first is our Chardonnay that we're looking at. The second product we're looking at is our Merlot. Two incredible wines. First one I want to look at is the Chardonnay. It's the 2020 Chardonnay. Just the incredible fruit that's coming off this wine. Some incredible stone fruit, hints of tropical, beautiful little bit hint of vanilla there for the oak. I think this is going to be a hit, and I think people are really going to love it. The second product we're looking at is the Merlot. It's the 2019 Merlot. This is quite a big red. It's really quite rich and luscious. I love the mocha that sort of comes out of this wine, and the hints of oak that really absorb the wine are incredible. And the raspberries that come out in it are just beautiful. This is a cracker. I hope you really enjoy it.
Thanks, Levi. It's always inspiring to learn about the art of creating and tasting great local wines. A reminder that these wines with our limited edition artist labels are available now for a very limited time at your local LCBO and online at lcbo.com. This concludes our Jackson-Triggs virtual event. We really hope you have enjoyed your time here and enjoyed our Jackson-Triggs Niagara estate, meeting our very talented emerging artists, Mark Clennon and Witch Prophet, and of course, learning more about our high-quality Ontario VQA Jackson-Triggs Reserve wines. Thanks so much for joining, and we look forward to welcoming you at our estate this fall. See you soon.